to. We'll keep it as long as we want.
Thank you, sir.
Now, the reason I came tonight at such short notice, some of you may know I've been looking into Laurel County history and researching a lot of things, getting ready for the bicentennial coming up next year. If you don't know, this was my great-grandfather's book that was published in 1954, and it is a history of Laurel County with many stories about Laurel County, the beginnings and all that. And as I've been reading it, going through it, I found something the other day, last week, and I should have said something last week, but I thought of it today because something gets on my mind and I have to go with it. And a story in it was First Laurel Court in Aunt Jency's cabin. And I'll read this aloud. This is just a real short paragraph for everyone. Aunt Jency was a slave of General Jarvis Jackson and probably of his father, John Jackson. All the African-American Jacksons of the county are her descendants. It was Aunt Jency's cabin that later became the family wash house that Laurel County was organized, London established, and the first court was held. Mrs. A.R. Dyke, who was actually my step-great-great-grandmother, whose first husband was John C. Jackson, son of Jarvis Jackson, wished very much that the alley leading to that cabin and to the city school lunchroom, in which was the original Morn Road, be named Jency Street. It wasn't, but of course, it could yet be done. This was published 71 years ago. And I read this story and it meant a lot to me because, one, we're getting ready to celebrate our bicentennial, but here was a person, a slave, who took a big part of our beginnings because that's where the first meetings were held, were in her cabin located behind where London School is now. If you look on the second page there, I have a map, actual an aerial drawing of the school with the street. Now that street right now is legally known as North Hill Street. There are no addresses at this location. Even the G.C. Garland building is specified as 710 North Main Street. So there are no addresses there. And what I've come here tonight is to ask the city council if they would consider renaming that Jency Street, and possibly sometime in the near future, the African-American heritage people or the city of London could put a plaque up there and explain why that is called Jency Street and why that means so much to the people of London and Laurel County.
Council, do you have any comments or a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second it.
The roll call.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
There you go, Tony.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
We also have a minister here that's going to open this up in prayer. I wanted to get the county official his time. I know he's a busy man as well, so get him in here and get him out. If Kyle Bargo will come to the podium to start us off in prayer.
Let's pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we want to begin this meeting tonight by acknowledging you. You tell us in your word that if we acknowledge you, that you will direct our paths. And that is what we all need, really, clear direction from you. Father, I pray that you would give the mayor and the city council unusual wisdom and discernment as they run the affairs of our city. Help them to remember who they serve and who they're accountable to. First, to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for all things are from him and for him. Second, to the people of London who have elected them among their peers to make good decisions for the betterment of our community. Bless them in this endeavor. And those who serve in our community as well, our police officers, our fire department, the sanitary workers, and all those who work behind the scenes to make London a better place. Help our discussions to be gracious tonight, good-spirited, and yet always honest. Unify us in our love and concern for our friends and our neighbors. And I proudly sing this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I think Councilman Ortega is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
but
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the January 6th, January the 22nd, and January 29th meeting, and the January 31st meeting. We can get a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Do your roll call.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Abstain.
Next thing on the agenda that we have is the body cameras. In your packet, council, you'll find a letter from my office with the original quote for $425,000 and then the new quote. The reason that we selected the Motorola solutions is the state police uses the same company. Some of the officers went up with the command and they checked it out. They said that that's who they would like to use as well. And the state police spoke highly about it. The original quote was so high because we were putting them in the vehicles. And the storage for that, even though it's in the cloud base, it was going to be significant because they never turn off. So to lower the cost, we decided, you'll see the original quote that we put in there in your packet, and then you'll see the lower cost one. And that's removing it from the equipment, from the vehicles, and just where it is on the officers themselves. That would reduce the price down to $30,800 per year on this 5-year contract. We did sign the contract. The body cams have came in. We're waiting for the guy that does the training. He said it would possibly be a week or so because he's out sick. But just as soon as they can get trained on it, they will be put on the officers. I think the PD has implemented or in the process of finishing up the policy for the body cams as well. Is there any questions regarding the body cams?
I have a question, Mayor. How many body cameras?
There's 40.
40.
I have a question. How come the $425,000 quote, there's not a copy of that in the packet?
You have the first one, the first page.
You mean this page?
No, if you flip that over, it's the quotes, that's the very first quote you open up to.
Okay. I was just curious. It didn't look like it came from, I didn't know if it came from us or came from them. I was just curious.
Is that something that the
Now,
council
there
did
is
need
a-
to sign off on?
No. They were taking it out of forfeiture funds. But the invoice does look different because you have a quote and then you have the invoice for once we settled on the contract, which is the second page in that. You have one that's stapled together. The second page, it says Motorola and it's the invoice.
Yeah, only thing is, it's not a signed quote from Motorola. It's got your signature on it, but it's not signed from them.
Yeah, the actual one that we accepted, that was the lower amount, which is your last page, it is signed. Any other questions regarding that?
Do we still have the old cameras that were in surplus?
That's a good question. I never asked that. That company is out, they went out of business
Okay.
is one of the reasons they stopped using them. So we couldn't return them, I don't think, but they could have. Eric, can you answer that question?
A lot of
The-
those cameras that we had before were in pieces, they were sold in the college and trying to get replacements. That company's no longer in business, so it's all out, we couldn't get any help with it. So the cost of the camera being, at the time, Motorola, what's known as WatchGuard, then was going to charge us for storage. But as you can imagine, storage is expensive at that time. Well, now they have changed to where now the storage is unlimited, but the cameras that we have in place, that's why we've got 40 cams instead of 35 or however many else. Because if a camera goes down, then to abide by the policy, however the policy is written, make sure the officer has a camera. That's why we have extra cameras that we can take and put on that officer, so he doesn't go without a camera.
Gotcha.
Eric, I'm a little out of touch. How many officers do we have right now? Sorry.
I honestly, I can't figure that out.
There's 35.
35.
I was just curious why the council wasn't informed that the body cams were being taken out of use. We didn't know anything about it at the time, but I guess last month, there was a letter in our packet from the chief at that time saying they were temporarily suspended in their use. I think it's what it said, but I know we didn't know anything about it. I was just wondering why we was not informed.
The body cam discussions were in the subcommittee talks when we talked about building the PD and the dispatch center. It was part of the upgrade of trying to get grants because every system over there needs to be upgraded, not just there, but the dispatch center as well, which is not just the city's burden of that is, of course, we give to the budget of that. But in that building that we've all been talking about and you guys create a subcommittee about, these things have been mentioned.
But according to the letter, that was in March of 23 or 22 that they were taken out. I think it's 23, wasn't it?
23.
Okay. I don't remember us even mentioning anything about the bill until later than that, but maybe we did.
We've been talking about the building for quite some time.
The 1 week of training, is that going to be by Motorola?
Yes, correct.
Is that the same training that the sheriff's office is going to have?
Yes, they went with the same system.
And just, this might be a silly question, but was there any benefit for us going into the same contract with the county to maybe get a better deal if they got 36 cameras and we got 40, just to save money? Was there any conversation about that?
No, we didn't talk about a joint venture with the county, but it really doesn't go by that. It's about the storage. That's the bulk price. These cameras don't cost hardly anything. It's all about that storage. And these type of cameras is, so when they're turned on, they record. And so in the event something goes down, there's that video footage there. So it's all about the storage when it comes to these.
And these are the ones that KSP uses, the ones that once they get to their station, it just automatically just syncs up
Correct.
and downloads. Okay.
Well, that's on the in-car units. I do believe from what I was told, that when they pull in, that would have happened. I think with these, if I'm not wrong, and Eric may elaborate more, but it's once they put them in the docking station to be charged at end of shift.
And then my only last question is, are we going to have to hire another employee for open records requests?
So that's something that we've been discussing because there's a lot of redaction when it comes to these. We're trying to see what we can do internally right now, but that may be a possibility. I know the PD has mentioned that they may need to have somebody that's full-time on this.
I make a motion that we accept the bid.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Well, we're still talking about cameras. Can I ask a question?
Yep.
The cameras that was taken down off of the buildings, who was those bought by?
They were bought by the city.
The city? Okay, where are those cameras now?
Eric, where's those cameras at now?
They're in the city hall, in the office.
What are the plans for those cameras, Eric?
Those cameras are used for like events or something that goes on in an event. As far as that, unless we have something from us, we leave them sitting there.
How much was one camera? Do we know?
Man, I can tell you right off without looking at the price, obviously don't know.
Who's Eric, just so we know, because I don't know who Eric is. Just a question.
Eric's our IT director.
Okay.
I honestly couldn't tell you right off without.
Can you get that to us, Eric, if you don't mind? Just a price on those. Thank you.
And would we have
And
also
we'll
needed to
purchase.
sign a contract on that?
No, there was no contract signed for the cameras.
And were they purchased with forfeiture money or did they come from the budget?
I don't really remember. Do you remember, Eric? Did they do them with their forfeiture? I can get-
Look it up, I can tell you.
Yeah, we can look it back up and let you guys know.
Thank you.
Any other questions about those?
No, there was actually more than that. I think there was
How many cameras are they, Eric?
five.
There's
I
five
think.
total.
Five. That's what we own.
Any other questions? All right, moving on. We have Action for Autism 2025. Lisa Depew, she's here. If you'll come to the podium to speak to council.
Hello, I'm Lisa Depew. I'm here on behalf of Action for Autism. We started in 2024. We've been having a walk annually since 2024, and we are making a request to host one April 12th from Town Center Park to the Farmers Market.
When you say 2024, are you messed up on that
I'm sorry,
date?
2014, sorry.
Thank
That
you.
year's closer.
I knew I'd been at a lot more of them.
Yes, sorry.
Are you still wanting to use Main Street?
We would like to, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And you'll have a table set up at Farmers Market and Town Center Park
Yes, we will.
with the march to begin when?
Correct.
What time will the march begin?
Sorry, we will actually walk at noon.
Have you talked to the chief of police or the police department yet to confirm?
I have
anything?
not. I usually speak to them after I meet with you all.
Is this chief or assistant here to?
No, they're currently not here.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. I make a motion that we accept
I'll second.
this Action for Autism law. Thank you, Jen.
Ms. Little?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Lisa. Next thing on the agenda we have is the fire department surplus. You'll find in your packets, it's a 16-year-old 2009 Ford Victoria. They'd like to sell it and try to get it replaced. We have some of the guys from the fire department here if you have any questions.
What's the current value of the car? I know it's not much, but I'm just curious.
It's not very much. Transmission's actually all it all.
When did it stop working, chief?
It's been a few months.
A few months.
Are y'all going to surplus this through an auction or I didn't know. Okay.
What would you need to replace this? SUV, vehicle?
More than likely.
Okay.
I'm all for for selling it, but as far as purchasing a replacement, I would really like to see what this is going to bring. Do you use the government auction site for that?
I've never done it personally yet. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good luck in the past with that. Tremendous. It's amazing. Versus maybe locally or things like that. I would be interested to see what it brings before we agree to purchase something new, though. Okay.
I make a motion to table this.
And second it.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
The next thing we have on the agenda is the Nevada Avenue. Who's here to speak?
Stacy may want to begin about this, but Mr. Zellers is here.
Yes, I'm property adjacent. And the city has a strip of land between my property and Nevada Avenue, which has just not been used. What I'm asking is for an easement to use, and we will bring it over to the curb of Nevada Avenue, build a landscaping setback, which is, the city requires, and some ingress and egress in the back part of the lot. But it's just this, and I don't know if you all got a copy of the,
They do.
okay. It's just highlighted in yellow, a strip that when Nevada Avenue was built, they just left that piece of property unused. And you can kind of tell if you see a picture where the curb goes on about 10 feet beyond where Nevada actually pulls out. So there's just this, it's just an unused piece of land. I'm not trying to purchase it, or I just would like to get an easement because I'm building a threeplex strip center next door. And we'll landscape it, we'll build the curb right up to Nevada Avenue, maintain the landscape, and then just have an entrance in the back, and then we'll have one entrance on 25 to get in and out of the strips. So just asking that the council grant an easement.
Does council have any questions or just need a motion to grant easement?
I've got just a question, is what do we, I mean, why do we have that anyway? Were we using it for access for something at one time? Or,
I think when the street was originally built, it was laid out to be wider than was necessary, and it's not being used. Can you, assuming they approve this, Charles, could you get us a description of the easement that you need?
It's a
Survey description?
Sure, for sure. We get that and can even draw the plans of what we intend to do with it. For one thing, if we want to curve it out instead of where it's blocked off right now, where the right-hand turn would be easier to make. And we're just gonna landscape, not put any tall things that would obstruct your view turning. And then, so I could get the physical description and then also lay out a drawing of what we plan to do. And it's just a strip of landscaping and then an entrance in the back is all that. No, it's very little piece of property, really not much that, it's all within the setback from Nevada, so we can't build anything on it.
well, is there a utility line there possibly? I'm just trying to figure out why we even have it.
I think you might be a little confused, and it's easy to see on that paper. There's an old alley that was never constructed on there. It's not that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what he's.
Okay, I see now. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't describe it better.
No, I just saw the yellow line on here. It was highlighted on the first page, and I didn't realize that. I was trying to figure out if it's something that we can, if it's not anything we're using, why we even have it. But I see now if it's on the side of the road. So,
When do you think you could get us that rendering?
Probably later this week, as far as that, well, as far as the title search, I'll have to hire someone to get the description for the title. I can get you a rendering pretty quickly, but the title search, however quickly I can pay someone to do it, get it back to me. I don't know how long they would take. They could take a month for that matter, but obviously I'll get that to you as soon as I get it.
If everybody's good, just need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I will second.
do your
Ms.
roll.
Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
No.
Ms. Green,
I was kind of wanting to table it.
Yeah.
Would you all agree to table this until,
And Charles, this is, this information was not given to the council until, I think, yesterday.
Okay,
And we need, when these
I
things
just
come
need to
up,
go see it and
that's fine. I mean,
is that going to cause any conflict for you? Is that,
no, we're weeks out from starting to build anything, and we're, like I said, we're not building anything on that piece of property anyway, but I do need the easement to, at some point, to get back.
we
there.
just need a little more time to do our due diligence to make sure.
But
Okay.
now, but we also don't want to hold you up from,
Right.
No, you're not.
you know, we don't want to do that. We want you to build stuff and be happy to be here. We want to be easy to get along with.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So I'll make a motion to table it for
Well,
next
we've got a
month.
motion on the floor that we have to finish. Ortega was a no, and then finish your roll call.
Ms. Green,
no,
Mr. Weaver,
No. I'd like to make a motion to table it for next month.
I'll second that.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes,
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next thing we have on the agenda is Kentucky Neighbors in Need of Sponsorship. She'll come to the podium here and speak. If you'll say your name for him.
My name's Tina Carnes. I'm on the subcommittee with the Neighbors in Need here in the city of London. We actually formed this in August of 2024. It was right after the Good Samaritan House had temporarily shut down and there wasn't nothing around here. So we gathered and we talked about it. We decided to place homeless in a hotel or motel overnight with an option of a Greyhound bus ticket. Unfortunately, we've had several things happen within the community, given the shooter on the interstate and, of course, the holidays and then this going on right now. So in the meantime, I did go ahead and form a nonprofit. And I added Kentuckian on it because I found out Neighbors in Need actually had an organization in Georgia. So I put Kentucky Neighbors in Need. And anyways, it was made to work with the city of London and Laurel County. And I know that we do have homeless here in the city, but it is definitely out in the county, especially around exit 29. Around in that area. But I mean, even when you go to Walmart around in here, you're going to see a lot of people. I've started this with $0. I have done everything as much as I can on my own. I did start with board of directors that was with the subcommittee. They stepped down due to personal reasons. So I've got 7 new board of directors. I need to update that online, but it will be updated this week. Anyways, I need money and I'm hoping I can get it from you guys. I do want to kind of talk about this for just a minute. Back when the Safer Kentucky Act took effect, I believe it was in July. It may have started the first part of August. HB 5 states a local government may designate indoor or outdoor areas with defined boundaries in an area zoned for commercial or industrial use, separate from any frequently used for public purposes as a temporary camping location for unsheltered homeless individuals. It must contain potable water, adequate sanitary facilities such as portable toilets. I did send an email back in October, and I don't know. I didn't mean it to sound sharp. It might have come off a little sharp, and that was not my intention. But like I said, I never really heard back. And and our meeting got canceled in December. It got canceled in January. So I've not really got to discuss much about this, but I do know the Good Samaritan House did open back up recently. The problem with the Good Samaritan House, I love it. It's fine. But it is made by local churches. Some are for it more than others, but they have some strict rules. And it's unfortunate they turn a lot of people away because they don't qualify. And I'm going to tell you right now, I probably wouldn't qualify for the Good Samaritan House. So if I became homeless today, tomorrow, they would probably turn me away. And the thing is you guys have people that you may go to work with and they look like us. They may go to Planet Fitness and take that shower and eat. By law, they're allowed to be in their vehicle for 12 hours. They can sleep in their vehicle. There are some that may not, and there are some that does. They don't have to go to jail if they sleep in their vehicle, according to the Safer Kentucky Act. But we do have encampments in the area, and there are some people on my board of directors that is about that. Now, I did mention about this, and we did talk about it. The mayor had come in and he talked about Pathway of Hope. He had at one point in time. I don't really know. I never really got details on that. I was wanting to, and I didn't. But I do know that during this time, since we didn't have it all set up, there has been warming centers in this area. And the mayor, the fire department, everybody's been about that. The mayor reached out to a Neighbors in Need subcommittee. And I don't think anyone responded but me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he can answer that. I don't know. But I did show up. And during that time, there was not enough volunteers. So the mayor paid out of his pocket for, I believe it was 6 families that was in there, for them to have 2 nights stay at the local hotel. He didn't have to do that. They could have stayed actually right here. He moved it over here into the community center, but he made it more comfortable for them. So he did go out of his way. I did come, I went out on slippery roads. I don't have a 4-wheel drive. I honestly didn't want to get out of the house, but I felt it was my need, my duty to try to get out and help because this was something that I signed up to do. I really wasn't that passionate about it until recently. I did some part-time work at the county tourism, and sitting there at the receptionist desk, I met several homeless people in the area. And there was one couple that really just, weighed heavy on my heart. And most people would probably turn their heads to them. But there's something about this because the man was a veteran with the military, and he had heart disease. His wife was a recovered heroin addict, but she was living off of their paycheck, and they're homeless. They slept out in the ditch line and under a tree over by Shiloh's and all the places over in there. And so it was on a Saturday. I said, well, come in. Let me see if I can help you. Let's see. Of course, I told them about Good Samaritan. They didn't qualify for Good Samaritan at the time. This was right before they had shut down. And she told me, she said she didn't have any IDs or anything like that. And I said, well, what can I do to help? And she said she was from Indiana, and it was a loop. She didn't have a driver's license, a birth certificate, a Social Security card. So she tried for her birth certificate, couldn't get it because she didn't have a Social Security card or driver's license. She tried for her license, couldn't do it because vice versa. It was like there was nothing we could do. So I was doing my best. I couldn't help her. I didn't have the resources at the time. So I gave her some T-shirts from the Chicken Festival and some water and food and drinks and stuff that was in there because before they come in there, I watched them out there for 3 days beforehand. And, I felt helpless. I didn't have the money to help them, but I did what I could. I told them about the CCC building, and I told them about Good Samaritan. Well, come to find out, CCC has vouchers, and they can help homeless individuals. But guess what? Not local. There's nothing for our local community.
What is
So-
it that you're needing from council
Well,
tonight? You're running out of
okay,
time.
I'm sorry. So basically, I am asking for a monetary donation or sponsorship or something from the city because it was agreed I was going to work with dispatch through London City and Laurel County Sheriff. I did add in the county because I do want to ask the judge to get, I don't know, physical court or whoever I have to ask for. But I'm also asking, and I don't really know if you guys are a part of this or the tourism or what, but Levi Jackson. I mean, if you guys can't come up with a facility, I feel like Levi Jackson State Park should be able to donate a couple of spots, whether they have a tent or we provide a camper or something. And before you shake your head, no, there's a lot of people that can be homeless and they're not drug addicts. It's a death in the family. It's a job loss. You've got 18-year-olds going out on their own for whatever reason. I mean, and yes, you do have a big portion that's in drugs. But anyways, my point is I'm asking for monetary donation sponsorship because this is working with your subcommittee. This was formed to help your subcommittee. And I'm not really sure where we're at on this because the last 2 meetings was canceled. So that's
Mayor,
where I'm at.
who was on the subcommittee?
It's Kip, Stacy, and Donnie.
Oh, by the way, Kip actually did pay in a sponsorship. So I actually had Kip and then you've helped out. But anyone, I have not received any other help within the city officials.
What's the council's pleasure on this right here?
What is your mission? What is your goal?
The goal? Well, I mean, we're a subcommittee. I was kind of,
What's,
Kip, I approached him because of the Good Samaritan. I think the subcommittee was just wanting to get, I didn't bring the list. But the goal is with Kentucky Neighbors in Need is to have, I'll read the mission statement. Hold on. Okay, Articles of Incorporation. The purpose of this nonprofit corporation is helping the homeless individuals in London City and Laurel County, Kentucky, providing resources and temporary place to stay overnight. So this is not long-term. This is me giving them resources to help them along. So I am raising money to help get the very things that the subcommittee wants, whether it be if I can do bus tickets or hotel motel. And I have talked to a local hotel owner, Baymont Inn and Microtel, and he's been really good during the cold weather. This is something that we've had a decent relationship with, so I would like to continue working with our local businesses.
My concern is how we take taxpayer dollars that the city people pay in, and we use those funds for a project like this, because it kind of opens the door to a lot of different situations.
Well, so here's the thing with Kentucky Neighbors in Need. They have to go through dispatch. They have to have a credit check. They have to make sure that there's nothing, nothing on them.
What about a drug
I'm going
test?
to have those rules.
What about a drug test?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be working with CompCare. I'm wanting to work out something with some other individuals like RRJ and Protea and some other, but there will be mandatory rules. And I will be working with Halfway Homes, Sober Living Homes, other places. So it's not just me. I will be working with other nonprofits.
Since the committee isn't here that was formed, I'd like to table it and let us look at the law
Okay.
and
Well,
see what kind of monies.
please review the HB5. Like I said, I took a snippet out of it. But this is something that's been going on. It's been on the news, part of the fall and during the winter. A lot of counties and cities and stuff has been doing things already. And you guys had a lot of stuff going on and put this on a back burner, but these are people's lives. I mean, this is important. It don't need to be on the back burner. We need to do something.
Does the city
about this.
police give bus vouchers already?
CCC does. We
CCC.
contact them, and then, of course, the private individuals have donated a lot of money because CCC that can't, at one point, they couldn't keep up with, it's just too many. But they try to help everywhere they can.
I do know that there is a white flag ministry that, from hearsay, but there's an insider telling me that they paid about 65, 70 motel rooms so far for local individuals. And they're taking in people in our area as well, and that's down in Corbin. So, and on the other side. So anyways, we have them. There are people here. They do sleep in the cars. We work with them. Our kids go to school with them, and it's important. So
We got a motion on the
please
floor.
stop.
Have you partnered up with any churches?
Huh?
Have you partnered up with any local churches?
I'm in the middle of, I've reached out to a few. Some's answered, some hasn't. There was one that helped us with a giveaway. I've done a couple of events, and I've gave food and clothing away from donations. Like I said, I have zero money. So anything that comes in goes right back out to the community. I had a donation from IGA or EC Porter. And like I said, Microtel and Baymont Inn, the owner there, has helped out. Mr. Weddle has helped out. And then, of course, our fire department, Mormon Centers and stuff. So.
I second.
You're seconding the motion to table. Do your roll call.
Ms. Little,
Excuse me, what is the motion?
Yes.
To table?
To
Table.
table.
Mr. Young,
This is to table, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
next
Thank you,
thing on
Tina.
the agenda is Mr. Jarvis, Anthony Ortega.
Yes.
Email the
Elijah?
clerk.
Jarvis, did you still want to speak, sir? No.
Okay, next thing, Mr. Anthony Ortega, Councilman Ortega has reached out to the clerk about James Jones addressing the council.
Mr. Jones, are you here?
Good evening, everyone.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Can we set a time limit of 2
Well, we
minutes?
said 5 minutes.
We'll do 5?
We
5 is
contacted everybody and told them 5 because you had emailed her 5 minutes.
5 is fine.
Okay. Let's let's be respectful during this. There is rules to order it in the council chambers, no outburst. We'll give you 2 warnings, and then we'll ask the city police to remove you. Let's just be respectful during this, and let's get through it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Ray Jones, and I just want to say that I thank the council, Mr. Ortega, the council, the mayor, and everyone here for giving me the opportunity to speak. What I'm going to speak on tonight, I will tell you that I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to lose. I've been a member of this community for 20 years as I grew up over in Manchester. With 12 of those years, I have lived within the city limits of London. My father started a small business here in the city of London, in which I managed. Back a few years ago, I had considered running for mayor. I actually still have the Facebook page that one of my friends made me a flyer, JJ for mayor. Due to personal reasons at that time within myself, I didn't feel like that it was a necessity or an interest for me to go and move forward that until I better myself. And after reviewing the current events that have taken place here in London, and with the vacant seat that became available here recently, I had an interest in running or placing my name in the hat for that position. And before I go any further, I have something for the record. And before I do this, I want to let everyone here know that my actions speak for myself. I stand here for me, not my mom, not my dad, not my children. If you get mad at me. Don't get mad at them. I speak of myself. Cooking, man, back on the AC part, and it was cleaning. Yeah, so once I started in on cleaning, man, I cleaned my kitchen and I cleaned my bathroom, and I swear I just cleaned the whole house. Yeah, but I've got a pen and piece of paper here, man. If there's, because besides what I was telling you there about the business wise and stuff, you have to go into this, man, super respectful, because the moment you start name calling and getting angry, you lose your audience. So how I would open it up with is, good evening, my name is James Jones, blah, blah, blah. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I feel honored. Just, open up with something like that, okay. Which sets the stage for you being respectful. And then you can say, Mayor, since you came into town, when you were campaigning for mayor, you were promising all these things: transparency, open door policy, all these jobs, high-paying jobs. You kept saying high-paying jobs. And he says, Mayor, you haven't delivered on any of that. Okay, so City Hall. Let me write this down real quick. Yeah. So I'll do the respectful part about giving thanks to everybody, for allowing me to speak and this and that, and then I'll go straight into the mayor about the jobs, and I would say I capitalized high. Yeah. When you were campaigning for mayor, you promised a number of things. One was open door policy. Hold on, let me write that down. Open door policy. Okay, go ahead. Yep. You promised that City Hall would be open to everybody. You promised high-paying jobs, that you're going to move your business here and bring all these high-paying jobs. High-paying jobs, okay. And you could say, and you could say none of that has been done. The exact opposite has been done. The opposite, okay. Yeah. You could say City Hall is locked down like Fort Knox. The front door is locked. You can't even get inside the lobby just to look around because you have to be buzzed in like a, secure facility. Oh, wow. See, there is no open door. Yeah, man. When the last mayor was here, you could walk right in and sit down. Here, you can't even get to the front door. Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. And he campaigned on open door policy. That's time. Yeah. So just say stuff like that, man. And then you can say, in regard to these high-paying jobs, you can say everyone that I've ever known that has ever worked for WB Transport is no longer employed there. And you can say, as far
I request more time.
Can you explain what's in this audio?
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to put my name in the hat for that vacant seat. After building a relationship with Councilman Ortega, I realized that no matter who came and spoke during these so-called special meetings, no matter what kind of qualifications they had, no matter who it was, that council had already made up in their mind who they were going to select. Now, they went through the process of the way it was supposed to be done. But I also have another audio I'd like to put in for the record.
Jones, we didn't have to have
And I also have hard copies I'd like to put in for the record. Because I was coerced into standing up here today in front of you. And the only reason why that I am here today to speak, and the only reason why that Anthony Ortega and Kelly and Judd and Justin and Stacy all agreed to let me speak today is because they thought I was going to stand here and bash the mayor of London.
Mr. Jones,
I
we
didn't
let you
agree- I
speak
didn't agree to
because
anything.
it's the right thing
I
to do.
You
didn't
talk to
agree.
me.
Okay, if you didn't, I have something for the record.
We let anyone speak here. Mr. Jarvis,
Yes. I don't want to, we're not going to play here tonight, Mr. Jones.
Let me play it.
No,
He says
we
it's the
gave
truth.
you 5
We gave you 5
minutes.
I jotted some stuff down that you said last
Your
night.
time is up.
Turn it off and sit down.
You're not gonna have that much time. They're saying.
Mayor,
Y'all gonna do something about it or what?
Address this, if the time is
Stop
up,
'em.
and you need to stop it immediately.
we want anyone to speak.
I think I
Anyone.
deserve enough time.
Mr.
I think
Jarvis,
the
you will
people
speak?
and the voters of this community deserve to hear the truth. All we hear is transparency.
And that is the
All we
truth.
hear is transparency.
Okay, let's
And
stop.
all I've heard
No
so far
outburst.
is opinionated facts from one-sided, from another-sided. That's all that I've heard. I'm stating and giving you facts of what goes behind closed doors.
Where
Kelly,
is the
you said
police
it yourself.
officers that normally shut this down in a regular
You said
meeting?
yourself-
Where are your police officers?
You said yourself to take the cameras off the buildings and put them on the cops.
Exactly.
How about we take the cameras and put them on you guys behind closed
Put it on
doors?
me. Put it on me.
Let's stop the outburst. Jane,
You put them on, but listen, the cops stand in every meeting we have.
James
And
Jones,
if
your
anybody
time's up.
says a word, they jump them and escort them out the door.
James,
You
your
need to
time's
go,
up.
sir. You need to go.
Your time is up.
Mr. Jones,
Give us the matter of record.
I have 2 hard copies for the
the
record.
public,
Yeah, bring them.
I'll let Mr. Jones
Give 'em
speak.
to the
Anyone's
officer.
able to speak here. I will put anyone on the agenda. Anyone on the
Give them,
agenda. It
Let
doesn't
me
matter
tell
to
you
me.
this.
Bobby.
I've got 2 more minutes. Give me 2 more minutes.
No, you don't.
No.
See, the $1 million question, the $1 million question is this. Nobody knew Randall Weddle before he ran for mayor. I knew him.
This is our meeting.
We were in the same business. I was in the same business, not with him,
He was in the same
but I was in the
business.
same business. I know it. I know the man he has. And London is honored, sir, to have you as mayor.
I was in the same business.
You're pathetic, Randall.
Next thing on. Let's stop the outburst. Next thing on the agenda is Jason O'Bannon.
We don't have a council.
The council didn't adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Let's stop the outburst. Yes. If she outbursts again, I want her removed.
You know, there's a lot of talk, is this on?
Yes.
There's a lot of talk about the embarrassment of the city of London. You just saw it. Person
Randall
that-
Weddle, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about. These snide remarks.
5 minutes.
See, once again, this is the example.
Let's stop the outburst
It's
from
not
the.
a baseball game where you scream from the crowd. Have some goddamn courtesy.
Okay,
Hey, that's strike one.
Bobby,
Mr. Jarvis, Mr. Jarvis, please sit down, sir.
okay, that's enough.
Mr. O'Bannon, go ahead, sir.
This council voted to,
Okay, Mr. Jarvis, you have to leave. Yes, you do. I'm the presiding officer. You have to leave.
Threaten him.
You do have to leave. Please leave. Officers removing from the building.
He threatened him. You go.
Please,
I'm done.
I threatened him
Hold
by
your
saying he need to
comments.
have some courtesy.
I am done.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. O'Bannon.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Yes, make a motion to adjourn. Second it. No? Yes, yes, yes.
Go ahead, Mr. O'Bannon.
You got a motion, you're gonna have to do something about the motion.
Do something about the motion. Vote.
We have a motion
The
on.
chair does not recognize the motion. Proceed with it. You know what's funny to me, council, is the first meeting in January, I sat silently and let you guys attack me and your crew. Now, you brought a guy in here tonight to try to attack me
You were rightfully
personally.
attacked,
Now, hold up,
sir.
Judge. And he, hold your peace. I'm talking to council.
You're a disgrace.
But you guys sit here and set something up. And tonight, because somebody's questioned your authority, you guys don't want to hear it. But now I sit for over an hour and listen to it. I didn't set none of this up. You guys set this up. No, you did, Kelly. You did this. You absolutely did it.
So what I was saying, Mr. Ortega, last meeting,
Yes, sir.
the council approved to remove $500,000 from the city police budget.
Okay,
What was
let's
the
hold our
reason for that?
voices and let Mr. O'Bannon start his thing.
What about her? Can we get her out?
Can everybody just please hold and let's get through with Mr. O'Bannon?
You got 2 minutes.
You got 5 minutes, Jason. We'll start
His
the
time
clock.
already started, I believe.
He's not been able to start.
Yeah, you did start.
Go ahead, Jason.
Did you hear my question, Mr. Ortega?
No, sir.
Last meeting, it was voted to remove $500,000 from the
Correct.
city.
I second that motion that Stacy Binge made.
Yes.
Correct.
What was the reasoning behind that?
The reason is because over the last, I believe, 2 years, they've had a 48.5% increase in their budget. So I second his motion, and so far, none of that money has been touched because we haven't amended the budget, have we? So if any police officers are scared of losing their job or overtime.
No, I'm not saying that's
That
the
money
case.
has not been taken away yet.
I'm not saying that's the case. I was just looking for the reason.
Oh, yes. Sir.
Thank you. Can this council, as one, dispel some of the rumors that are going around about jurisdiction for the city police department? By show of hands, can we show this community that we know by law, by statute, that the city police have jurisdiction?
Hey, Jason, you're asking them to make some type of legal conclusion or legal answer that they're not qualified to give. They're not giving you jurisdictional answers and things that's not in their purview. They're not over the police.
Okay, well, you're in a,
They've given their opinion before, and the law is clear. You and I both know it's clear.
Mr. Conrad, I'll ask you, is the law clear on the city police having jurisdiction out in the county without the need for any other law
The
enforcement
law
agency?
allows, in certain situations, yes, the law
What
does.
are
allow
those
that.
certain situations?
Jason, I don't know every one of them, but the law does allow.
Okay, please hold.
Jason, the way it's always
Mr.
been
Conrad,
done,
Mr.
the way it's
Look,
always
I
been-
know what it's always been,
Yeah, it's
but
always
I'm
been
telling
the
you,
assistant
the
district
KRS,
attorney.
and I'll hand it to you.
Here, give it to the officer, Jason. Let him bring it up.
He's over his time, please. No, he's not. Yes, he is. 5 minutes,
Please,
22
please
seconds. Yes,
hold
he
any
See,
comments.
See, the problem with this
He
is,
interrupted himself.
we scream transparency, and when something is shown to you, and Mr. Cessna, you know the answer to this. When the cities, when the classes of the cities changed in 2015, it also changed what the city police could do. It's right there in KRS. You've defended people who've been arrested outside the city by the city police, so you know that this, and your argument wasn't they were out of their jurisdiction. So you know the answer to this. Just quell the rumors that they have. Now listen, before we move this, just because someone has the right doesn't mean whatever happened was right. I'm just saying, if we set a mark of what the standard is to quell some of these rumors, then why can't we?
So are you asking me a question?
Yes.
And that being, what is your question? And I'll answer you.
Do
Are
the
you asking
city-
me, are city police allowed to do that? Yes, as I stated, there are certain circumstances where that is allowed. The KRS, you're right, there's a KRS, you can read, I can read, like, there are situations and circumstances where that is allowed. My response to you was, there's no need to ask the council that. They're
I
not
understand.
lawyers. They don't, they're not
Mr.
asked to enforce the law.
Mr. Urbaniak, are you requesting us to limit the city police to just to the city?
No, I'm just saying that even petitions going around and things like this are no jurisdiction, no jurisdiction. And I think if you started a baseline of no jurisdiction, then you don't even have to go to step 2 or 3 while we're there. No jurisdiction, well, they're guilty. But as a council for transparency, to be able to say, yes, they have that authority. Again, it doesn't make it right or wrong what happened, but where do we start to start moving forward to quell some of these rumors that no jurisdiction? That's my only point.
Well, when I got, okay, if they do have countywide jurisdiction, they don't need to be patrolling out in the county. This is a city.
But
So we're doing their citizens in this town an injustice if our policemen are out in the county when they could be in the city where they're needed.
and that's a topic for the state legislators.
No, it's a
because-
topic for
No,
this
it's
town
for
because
this.
we can decide
The city
if they
council
work
can
outside the city
restrict-
limits or
Yeah,
not,
you
unless
can.
they're needed for a backup or
Mutual
whatever.
aid.
No, they can't.
That's right.
And that's what I said. But where do we start the debate?
There is no debate.
So they can or can't?
They can, but they shouldn't be.
Randall, we're at 8 minutes. Thank you.
Jason, you got anything else you'd like to say?
I do. There was this council decided to do away with the memorandum of understanding between the sheriff's department. Is that correct?
That's,
I'm not even
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the contract that you guys.
The
voted
contract
on
that
last Meeting.
You weren't there, Mr. Judd, but prior to that, you all, Stacy and Mrs. Green
mhm.
voted to do away with that memorandum.
The task force.
The task force.
Yes,
And
John Root says it doesn't exist.
right. John Root says it doesn't exist.
that's right. There's no gray area in that, is there?
Well, in light of what's happened, do you think we actually need one?
Go to the Laurel County Sheriff's Department Facebook page. December 19th, 2024. Laurel County Sheriff John Root is reporting that the Laurel County Drug Interdiction Task Force, comprised of the Laurel County Sheriff, Haida, Knox County, London City Police, with assistance of the Kentucky State Police, arrested 17 individuals. This is less than 2 weeks before he lied to you. And don't believe just the press releases on the website.
Jason, was it not to be made up by the sheriff's department and the city police per Haida?
Yes.
Okay, and how many sheriff's deputies are involved in it now?
My
Zero, right?
understanding is
Zero.
2.
No,
No,
no
zero.
longer.
So no longer, that's
No
right.
longer.
So how does
Right now, what what you see is not technically legal, I would think.
that's correct.
Right.
So what I encourage this council to do, instead of letting John, you do the bidding for John, do like I did, do a FOIA request, an open records request, because the city police and the sheriff's department requested reimbursement from Haida in December, November, and October. So if there was a defunct task force, why would we put on paper that we need reimbursed for overtime? It's an interesting question,
Yeah, it is.
because I don't want somebody to lie to you and then you give false information because you are trusting them. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
Thanks for looking out for us. I appreciate it. And your time is way past due, so thank you, Jason. Let's move on with city business, please.
Thank you, Jason. The next thing on the amending your budget. No one spoke to me about this. It says the council attorney. Arguns, what's the process in this, Conrad?
Yes, so my understanding, And with Mr. Bryson's, longstanding history, I hope he'll assist on this if I'm mistaken in any way. But there has to be a change in the budget to include my fees. Under the appropriations, we have, $155,000 budgeted for professional fees. Under, and I'm just looking at this year's budget, under the attorney section, there's $141,200, which is budgeted for, I'm assuming that's the city attorney or whatever other legal services that may be needed outside of that. I understand that budget is earmarked for that. We do have a spot, like I said, under the appropriations for professional fees. And I think to cover the expense of me and my services, that professional fees line item needs to be converted to a legal fees line item so that we can ensure that I get paid.
Yeah.
My point being, the money is that there's professional fees budgeted for. To my knowledge, there are no other professional fees that the city council would incur. I can guarantee you that my fees will be likely a third of that. So if there is some more needed, it can be used in other areas, but that's my suggestion.
As far as the other professional fees are concerned, I know we've had engineers and people like that have been working on the design for the police station. And the audit, we pay the auditors out of that. I'm not as well versed as probably the city clerk is about the particulars of that line item, but you may be best served by looking for the money somewhere else other than that.
Would you know, and I can speak to the city clerk if she knows kind of where we're expecting that. This is under the appropriations that are earmarked for the council.
Yeah.
So that's why I was suggesting that fund, because like I said, $155,000 seems to be like I said, that would more than cover my fees.
Yeah.
And if I need to get with the clerk to figure out what professional fees are anticipated, I can obviously do that, but it seems that there ought to be some wiggle room in that number.
Yeah. Have any of the council members talked with Sherry about this? She's the person that usually helps with the budget.
I can't speak as to who all, everybody the council has talked to. I have worked with KLC, and quite frankly, this was their suggestion as well. Once I saw the line item of professional fees, especially with it being earmarked for the council, that led me to believe that there would be some room there to pay me. So, and quite frankly, I'm not in any hurry to get paid or anything like that. If we need to bring it back up after speaking with the city clerk to see what anticipated expenditures they have as far as professional fees go, I'm okay with that. I'm not.
Yeah.
If the line item's there, why can't we just make a motion?
Well, that's not the way you amend the budget. Is one reason.
Mr. Bryson, you said that we should, as a council, should get with Sherry.
Yes.
Did you not send out an email saying to all city employees, do not talk to the city council?
Yes,
Did I?
yes, you did.
It was
Yeah,
either
that's a
you or the
question.
mayor.
You
that
said not to speak to any employees
speak
in the
to-
city.
So you instructed all city employees, do not speak to the council, speak to Mr. Bryson.
Yes, we did.
But it'd be a little hard for us to speak to Sherry if you.
But
are
have you
directing
been
her.
speaking to Katie?
Well, she's a city clerk.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been speaking to one of the employees?
Isn't it her job to do the agenda?
She's a
Well, you're not gonna fire
liaison
her, are you?
between us and you.
Sure. I mean, it is her job and she's doing it. We've not restricted any of you guys talking to
Well,
her.
just like Mr. Jones is recording, City Hall is locked down. You can't even walk in the front door. Has anyone tried that?
something, you're ready to just get up and walk out and says, the mayor's an actual leader, and he'll never turn his back.
How much is he paid to Stephanie?
Since you bring that up, I want to clarify. When I come into office, the ladies of City Hall asked that I lock it down. And it was because of the race that I was in was so hostile that they feared for their lives. That's the facts.
Oh, my Lord, help.
You really believe that shit?
And if you go into any courthouse across this country, you get checked before you come into it. Every government building across this country is locked down. These women asked me to do it, so I did it.
Put a police officer at the door and
You
open
just-
for business.
You just gutted them $500,000.
Open for business.
That has not been done yet. The $500,000 has not been taken away yet.
Again, yous are more than welcome to reach out to me 24 hours a day for any information that yous need.
Well, back to the budget thing, the last thing I want is for this to be an area of contention for money for me. That's not something I'm overly concerned about at this particular moment. If we need to speak to more appropriate people, look, I mean, I'm new to this. I understand that. I appreciate Mr. Bryson taking the time to answer and tell me where to go. And if our council needs to speak to somebody, the last thing I want is for everybody to get pissed off and storm out and mad over my money. So I'll make sure that we find a place to get it. And if we need to address that at next month's meeting, I'll be more than happy to have more clear answers at that point.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come up and we can sit down with Sherry.
No problem at all.
Detailed report.
Not an issue.
So that would be
I make a
concluding.
motion that we table.
Okay,
We talk to Sherry.
we got a
I
second.
think that that is acceptable.
Is there a second to table?
I second.
Roll call.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega.
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes,
All right, just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to the
Ms.
council.
Little,
We didn't know.
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega.
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
I've never been such a circus.
Huh?
Yeah.
How much was he paid to say that to Sam? The cost? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm right out the
It was a plan.
Sorry about that.
We're sorry. I'm sorry I got mad.
Welcome back. Kelly, I'm Doug Hampton.
Hi, Doug. Sorry I got mad. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
No, you're good. No, they're not.
It was all fluff. Good, because you had one contract until the board said that there was she wrote down.